For those of you who have watched my videos in the last few days and weeks, I'm pretty sure you've heard me several times say that there is no real plan for peace in that war. And you already know why, right? Okay, so you can see what is happening now. Massive escalation. Massive escalation going on there. And what is going on has made me say, look, people really need to pray for Russia and Putin. You know why? The conspiracy to demonize is beyond human comprehension. And they're not using any new plans from their playbook. It's the same thing they've done from day one, from the moment the war started. Ukraine will shoot rockets into Russia, cause a lot of destruction, a lot of damage. You don't find it anywhere on mainstream news. But the moment Russia retaliates, underline the word retaliate, it's all over the media. In case you think I am not telling the truth, you watch CNN, the lying network. Tell me in all honesty, when was the last time while watching CNN you saw an attack from Ukraine to Russia, or a Ukrainian attack on Russia on their TV or on any mainstream news media? You will hardly ever. So the question then is, what is going on? How is it that Russia is the only one that keeps firing into Ukraine? That is the impression they are creating. That's why the moment the war started, the first thing they did was to ban Russian networks in the whole of the European Union, everywhere. They literally cut them off on YouTube everywhere. If it were not for Rumble and their own website, you won't hear anything from Russia today. So they don't want anybody to hear their own side of the story. They want you to depend on their own Western side of the story alone. The curse of a single story. And they are getting away with it. Today we heard Donald Trump getting angry with Putin. But I'm pretty sure he didn't know that Putin was only reacting to something that Ukraine had done. Two things: Ukraine went and fired a lot of devastating rockets into Russia. And then secondly, Putin flew into Kursk in his helicopter. And they almost killed him. Today, Russians are seeing it as one of the most daring assassination attempts on the life of Putin. It was after that Putin then ordered this maximum reaction or attack that you see on Kiev. I'm not saying something that is not known, but you will not see any of this. Putin's helicopter came under Ukrainian drone attacks. Massive! They were literally fighting off the drones because he had his own fighter jets and all that. This was probably the first time something like this has happened. That's after they had already shot a lot of devastating rockets into the country, Russia. In fact, there was a Ukrainian, I don't know whether she's Ukrainian or something, but she was speaking English, a lady who was now saying, that the news came that there was an attack. Well, since he doesn't want peace, that's Putin, well, let him deal with it. But the attack she's talking about on social media, nobody mentioned it on mainstream news media. In fact, I think I have the video. Let me see if I can just turn around and show you the video. Where is this video? Oh, okay, here, there it is. Okay, hold on, let me play this.
Hello guys, according to the Russian officials, 750 Ukrainian drones have visited Russia during these 3 days. Well, what did they expect? Putin declined a ceasefire, which means he wants fire. So he gets fire, but just on the military objects inside of Russia. And hundreds of Ukrainian drones visited dozens and dozens and dozens of Russian regions bringing war back home where it belongs, and also demonstrating to those who can see that Russia is very vulnerable, can and will be defeated. The Kremlin is a classical bully that was totally unprepared to defend itself on its own territory. And right now, every night, Ukrainian drones keep defeating and demilitarizing Russia. That is the only working peace plan. Share and subscribe, that's important.
That wasn't from me. This happened right before the Russian president's helicopter was attacked in a bid to assassinate Putin. Before then, the order to strike Kiev happened. But what are you seeing everywhere in the media? Everywhere you turn in the media, it is the attack on Kiev, the attack on Kiev. The one that this lady is talking about even gave you details of the number of drones that were hitting dozens of places. Not one single image of that anywhere on mainstream media. I already told you what this whole thing is all about. So for those of you in the global south, in Africa, we must pray for Russia. Stand with Russia. I do not wish for any single Ukrainian to die. Ukraine, I used to tell people, is that country used to be my favorite vacation spot. I love Ukraine with passion till tomorrow. I love Russia and Russians. I don't want any one of them to die. We all want peace. But we know that the same cabal that has held Africa down for so many generations are the same people that are pushing for this because they feel like their power structure is shaken on the continent of Africa. We already know, I've already explained this, I don't want to go over it again. That's why I kept saying that there is no genuine plan for them to seek peace. This thing you are looking at could potentially lead to a world war because these guys know that if the trajectory, if the trend we see in Africa continues with the help of Russia. I just saw a news report where Putin just a day or two ago was saying that they're going to strengthen their relationship with Africans and help more people to be free. This was just a few days ago, if not yesterday. So he is determined. And so these guys are also determined to destroy. So this could lead to world war. Because if it means, and if it is an existential threat to the colonial powers, if it means that this could actually upend them and destroy them completely, both economically and otherwise, they will probably have no choice then to just go at it with Russia. And you know, Russia is not the kind of country you come at unprepared. It's the largest nuclear power in the world, followed by the United States of America. They have far more nuclear stockpiles than the US. And they hate the fact that Donald Trump is not treating Russia and Putin the way Biden did. And that's why they're cooking up all these things. But I know that at the end of the day, truth will prevail. And what God has started on the continent of Africa, He will finish, no matter what. Pray for Putin, pray for Russia.